Welcome to Week in Horror.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
The only podcast that will feed your horror need.
The need to feed.
With JL.
Yeah, I'm a fucking masochist. I'll watch that shit.
Eugene.
Somebody has to be the sex symbol, I'm sorry.
Alex.
Shit, I just demonetized this forever.
And Johnny O.
How do you like that shit? Got halfway through the monologue before unmuting myself. Golly, it's one of them fucking days.
With industry guests.
Hi, this is Richard Oakes, Director of Host.
Hey, this is Adam Leader, Director of Host.
This is Matthew Mark Hunter.
I'm Don and Ellie.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And this is Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
News, trivia, and more.
One by one, we will take you.
Join our live show Wednesdays at 7 Central, youtube.com/weekinhorror, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Week in Horror. Stay scared.
And we're live.
All right. Welcome back, horror fans. It's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, and that means it's time for another episode of Week in Horror. The only podcast that's not a dream. It's really happening. Thank you all so much for joining us. For all of our podcast listeners, be sure to check us out live here on YouTube so you can interact directly with us during the show. This week, we're covering select films released in horror history September 12th through September 18th. Thank you all so much for showing up tonight. I'm Alex, and with me tonight are JL and Eugene.
Good evening, everyone.
What's up, everybody?
Good evening.
Awesome. So, actually, this is really, really good because I know that this episode is not going to air until Sunday, which is after Texas Frightmare Weekend, when we put it up on the podcast channels. But I'm very curious because Eugene was not around when we talked about this beforehand. So I wanted to actually revisit with Eugene now that he's here. What do you plan on doing out of TFW? What's your TFW plans? Because everybody pretty much knows ours.
So this is actually my first time at TFW. It's not my first time going to a convention because I've gone to Dragon Con a couple times over Atlanta. But this is my
nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
Dragon Con is
I've been to so many fucking cons.
It's a sea of nerds. It's just an ocean of the unwashed.
Yeah, it is. I think they're close to breaking almost 100,000 people.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Dragon Con is the second largest convention in the country other than San Diego Comic Con. Nice. So they'll hit around 70,000. It's awesome if you ever get a chance to go if you're in Atlanta. So this is going to be my first Texas Frightmare. And honestly, I love taking in the atmosphere. I love checking out a couple of panels. I know they got like a Night of the Living Dead panel coming up. Actually, the one of the people involved in Nail Gun is running the short film festival. I found out recently. So he's actually coordinating all of that kind of stuff. So it'll be great linking up with him again. And I mean, we're just gonna take in the sights. I'm weird. I like to meet celebrities, but I'm not really big about getting autographs. So just the fact of if I get a chance to chat with Tony Todd or Freddie Prinze Jr. for like 15 seconds or 30 seconds, I'll be happy enough.
How do you go from Tony Todd to Freddie Prinze Jr.?
I saw a thing with Sarah Michelle Gellar earlier today, so
wow, we have gone in a fucking circle here.
Don't bring up SMG, man. She broke my heart when she married Freddie Prinze Jr. I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, they have two beautiful kids. But man, I was so in love with Buffy from the age of 16 to 20. Or like 16 to 22, and if I start watching, I have both the Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer collected editions, the full on box sets. If I start watching, I have to watch from the beginning, and I can't stop until I've gotten through the whole thing. So I try to avoid it because I know that I'm going to lose like a good portion of my life. I like a good chunk just having to go through Buffy the Vampire Slayer again.
You're going through it again. She actually did a thing. So Ed Sheeran, the singer, was on a talk show, and apparently he's like a huge Buffy fan. So Sarah Michelle Gellar recorded a personalized message and aired it. And so she's like, yeah, because she's a fan of his music, and she had to do a trivia night about like his songs and everything. So she was like, cool, awesome, you're great. And then it made his entire life.
Nice. All right. Well, we do have big plans for Texas Frightmare Weekend. It's going to be fun. Nail Gun is going to be showing. Are they going to show the director's cut or the The cut one from Rack Focus.
It's actually an in-between cut on it. So it's going to be a little bit longer there's 3 cuts. It's going to be a little bit longer than the Rack Focus cut on it because first of all, it's going to have the full credits instead of the 15-second credits we had because we had a 10-minute time frame. Yep. But it won't have everything the director's cut does.
Okay. Now I showed everybody in the Discord. I streamed the director's cut one. People loved it, and I'm kind of bummed because in the director's cut one, you have that from the difference between that one and the Rack Focus one. You have that shot where she puts the nail gun like straight up in his forehead, and it was like that. And then you got the camera down there, kind of next to it, like kind of looking up. You had with the angle. That was fantastic. That shot was amazing. I'm like, where was that shit? I'm sitting here going, that shot should have been in there because that was dynamic. Like, it had the good angle where it's like up close to the camera, and I was like, oh fuck, that feels real. So I loved that shot. It was perfect for it. But
I'm still here. My camera just flickered for a second. No, I do. I love that shot. That was one of the shots that I had to color because the color is only colored for the Rack Focus thing. So I had to come back and color it on it. And so I like to get him to come back and actually do a full color grade on it. That's why that shot won't be in the Texas Frightmare. But it's going to be excited. I'm so excited. I'm hoping maybe get a couple celebrities there to watch it. Maybe.
Sweet, that'd be cool. That'd be cool as shit. Dude, man, I would. So if we actually got to do this, I would cast CJ. So if we got a chance, I would cast CJ Graham as the nail gun killer. I would cast because Kane Hodder has his own style, but given the fact that the nail gun killer is similar to like the Prowler, CJ's got that build, and I think CJ, and plus what CJ brought to Jason in Friday the 13th Part 6, I would cast CJ Graham as the killer. I think that would be amazing.
Oh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, and going down to, we'll cover one more thing. So one thing we wanted to ask, and we want to get the live chats, the audience's opinion on this before we dive into our horror film selections tonight. We have some good ones. Is for those who don't know, I see that we have some new people in there. We have some new people in the chat. When we will say hi in here in just a moment, while we give you all an opportunity to think about what we're going to ask you. So the big thing is that part of what we do here at Week in Horror is we do bloodbath debates because we're a bunch of fucking horror nerds and we love to argue about who would win in a fight, whether like Freddy versus Wishmaster or Jason versus Michael or Chucky versus the Leprechaun. And we will debate these things out. These debates are available where you listen to podcasts, Google, Apple, doesn't matter, Anchor.fm, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Audible, we're there. So you can check out our bloodbath debates. We're currently up to, I think we have bloodbath number 22 coming up this month, which will be the Fireflies versus the Sawyers. So the Fireflies from the House of a Thousand Corpses trilogy versus the Sawyers from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So family versus family. It's going to be fun. It's me versus Johnny O. So we had that bloodbath debate come on, but we've done like 22 of these bad boys. So I kind of wanted to kick around because we love doing this. But, now that we're about to go into season 3, the season finale is next week. And then we jump into season 3. We unveil the new artwork and all the cool stuff. What do you guys want to see? Now, we've done a bunch of these, like a bunch of bloodbath debates, but there's plenty of horror icons out there that can fight. We've done Pennywise versus Bagul. We've done The Car versus Christine. We've done Humanoids from the Deep versus Chuds. We've done a whole bunch. If you have any ideas for what you would like to see in a horror debate, like icon versus icon, it doesn't matter whether we've done it before or not, or if you have something new that we haven't touched on, if you're familiar with these, let us know. We'd like to know in the chat. Just you can let us know in the live chat or let us know in the comments below or hit us up at weekinhorror@gmail.com or just throw in a suggestion in the suggestions tab on the Week in Horror Discord. We'd love to hear what you guys think. We'd love your input on that because if you guys want to see a particular fight, we want to put it on for you. We want to debate it and see who will win in that fight because we've done a bunch of them. What's your guys' favorite one so far?
Ooh, let's see. I think it was, I guess a little prelude to what we're talking about later on tonight, the Blob versus the Thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
The Blob versus Thing was good.
That was a good one.
What about yours, Alex?
I think the favorite one that I've done was with Eugene was Cujo versus Max. That was a pretty fun one.
Awesome.
But I think going back to the very beginning when we did like the icons, like we did what did we do? Freddy versus not Freddy versus Jason.
We kicked it off with Jason.
It was Jason Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that was a rough one because it was our first, go at it and everything. But that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I don't know. We've done so many good ones. Anything that I'm on is you can go watch me get fucking tore apart on these things. It's hilarious. I'm just not as good. And then going into it, JL had a lot of experience doing debates before we even started doing this shit. So me and Eugene get wiped for like the first 5 or 6 of them. It's just terrible.
I have to say the most enjoyable that I had doing with it and a lot of fun. A close second is the Blob versus the Thing. That's a fun one.
That was a good one.
Like would the Blob eat the Thing or would the Thing infect the Blob and take it over? So that was a good one. Very close one. But my number one favorite, the one that I really enjoyed the most because it's a great visual, is the Car versus Christine. I really like that one just because. The unstoppable objects. I think that was cool. Like the car is the Devil's Sunday Ride, and Christine can heal, can regenerate herself. So hell, I thought that was one of my favorites. But we've had a bunch of really really good ones. Let me see. I think I saw a recommendation there. Tony Regime recommends the Fog versus the Mist.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's interesting.
That could be interesting.
You could do that.
I got a message. Where was it? Somebody messaged, was it in the horror chat or I can't remember. Someone recommend Reanimator. It was a new listener, Kyle Eder recommended Reanimator. That would be what's the doctor's name? Herbert West. Yeah. Herbert West Reanimator versus Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Oh,
and that's that's neat. I really kind of dig that one.
I'm digging that one too.
Yeah, I got my reanimated corpses. You've got the Frankenstein's monster. I kind of dig that. I really did. Yeah, that was a good suggestion. Let me see here. Shinju says the Thing versus the alien versus the actual alien. We haven't brought the alien into a debate yet, but we did do the Thing. So it's a possibility. Let me see. Oh yeah. Kyle Eder, you're right. We need consistency. Like the two on the left. That's why like the Blob versus the Thing kind of works. Car versus Christine. Chucky versus the Leprechaun. So we try to kind of keep the playing field even. Freddy versus the Wishmaster, like the Djinn from Wishmaster. Let's see. Who is it? Who said that? I saw somebody put in there. Oh, he said Pinhead wins against all, and we haven't done Pinhead yet. Like it's like the Cenobites. We haven't done Pinhead versus anybody yet because Pinhead's pretty extreme.
That'd be an intense battle.
Yeah, that would
be. So definitely go through. Let me take a look. We'll say hi to whoever's in the chat real quick. Then we'll dive into these movies. So Charlie Welch is in the house. He was foist. Finally, he won the gold. He won the gold medal. So welcome, Charlie Welch, the only man on the internet you never
get the golden machete.
He's the only man on the internet you never make a bet with. And then, of course, Mr. Malort is in the house, hailing in from Chicago.
Hey,
drinking his Malort. That's hard. It's horrible. Malort is so bad.
Malort, oh my god, that's just.
And he sent me a piece. Do you guys know what water thickener is?
Yes.
Okay, he sent me a picture of Malort mixed with water thickener,
like a Malort Jello shot.
Like a glass of it looked like a glass of snot. I shit you not.
Dude, Malort's one of those, like, it's like a ritual. Like, if you go to the bar, you got to be like, all right, let's fucking do it. And I don't know why we do it.
It was brutal. The picture he sent me just looked like, it was, what the fuck am I looking? Like, it's kind of going down slow. Maybe put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds so it's nice and warm. Mr. Lord says he's
now that we're talking about drinking snot.
Mr. Malord says he's back at teaching in person. He's drained. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that. He also says the trivia answer tonight is Tracy Lords. So I guess we will find out if that's the answer to tonight's trivia question. Good to see you, Mr. Lord. Thank you for coming in. Tony Regime, good to see you. Charlie Welch says his trivia answer is Tale of Two Cities. So a little Dickensian answer there. Oh, appreciate that.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mr. Malort is letting me know that Irish Demon is premiering now at the exact same time. So how nice of him. Yes, how nice, Irish. We do appreciate that. I'm going to let him have it at the next Beardsman. He doesn't show up at the 4 Beardsmen on Sundays, but he'll go ahead and start streaming when we start streaming. So that's great. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Tony, Mr. Lord says real trivia answer is the Zanies. Okay. And Tony Regime says trivia answer is Vincent Price presenting a UK TV cooking show.
So specific.
Very specific. And I'm good to go. Sarcasm is in the house. Good to see you. He will be lurking until his shift is over. So good. Because you, Sarcasm, one of our amazing patrons, as well as Charlie Welch is up in the house and everything. And as a matter of fact, why don't I just go ahead and kick off the patron banner? That'll make it some use so people can see who supports the show. And Mr. Malort, also one of our amazing patrons. And I saw, let me see, oh, Charlie Welch, Buffy. And I think I saw Charisma Carpenter follow that up as well. Yeah, well, Charisma Carpenter, yeah, because she's kind of doing softcore stuff these days. I guess wherever the career takes you, you know?
I did not know that.
You know it now.
For educational purposes, is there like a link or something afterwards?
She did a. I'm not knocking her. I mean, Charisma. Whatever movie choices whatever movie choices she makes, I will support them by watching them. And
absolutely,
she
multiple
did
times if I have to.
She did like a kind of S&M knockoff of 50 Shades. So I'll just let your imagination run with that one.
Wait, who are we talking? I totally know. Who are we talking about?
Charisma Carpenter. She was Cordelia on Buffy.
For educational purposes.
Yes. Some excellent choices. Thank you all for the recommendations. Oh, Rodent No Last Name says Godzilla versus Chucky.
I just picture Godzilla stepping on Chucky.
I don't know. It would take him a while to run all the way the fuck up his back, but he could get there and probably do some damage.
So good to see you, Rodent No Last Name. Let's see. Week in Horror. What about the Quatermass experiment versus the Thing? I'll have to look into that. That's a possibility. Interesting. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you know what? I think I just remembered a new one of my favorites was
Alpha K91. Good to see you. And Mr. Andrat. Good to see you. I see. I heard we did hear that Demon was premiering at the same time. So blah, 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 blah. And Charlie Welch says, Charisma has a rather not soft porn appearance on Pornhub. Just saying. I didn't see it. Someone told me.
Put Charlie on blast like that. Okay.
Really? Or really not?
Put your phone down.
If you would like to email us a link at
I'm not doing anything. I'm like Rocco over here. I'll tip her.
Solid Boondock Saints reference. Love it.
Thank you. What do you think you're doing?
I'll tip
her. All right. Well, thank you everybody for popping in. It's good to see everybody in the live chat. Chucky wrote now, Jinju. Jinju's in the house. Good to see you, Jinju. He says Chucky versus Leprechaun. We actually covered that. Chucky versus Leprechaun, I think, was Bloodbath 3. Was it Bloodbath 3?
No, it wasn't that early, was it?
Yeah, it was early. It was either Bloodbath 3 or 4. It was one of them. But we did that pretty early on because, midget, magic, good to go.
I think that's a category. I think that's a category on Pornhub.
Midget magic. Midget magic, yes. Oh, Mr. Andrew says, what did I just walk in on? Yeah, that's what we do here.
Welcome to Week in Horror Podcast.
We're a bunch of fucking professionals here. You're mad. And cool. So I think we saw everybody. So thank you everybody who's listening. But as Alex likes to say, we're here to talk about fucking.
Wait. Before we get started, I do want to take a shout out. I love that video from Black Rifle Company about veterans and horror movies.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh, that's what Kyle said.
Yes, which is hilarious because you have like Michael Myers jump in and they're all armed and excited about what guns they're going to shoot him with. It's amazing.
I did see a video on YouTube that said why horror movies don't take place in the South, or was it why you never see Southerners in horror movies? And it started out. It's a sequence of events, and the first one was this guy, this country dude, is sitting on his couch, just kind of he's got his beer and whatever. And then you see from the mask's perspective, and someone's coming in, and you hear the horror music, and he's just sitting there laughing, watching Steve Harvey. And then as the killer gets closer, he's like, and he reaches behind the couch and pulls up the biggest fucking rifle I've ever seen. Just like this. Just pulls it up, and then he looks over at him, and the guy's like, yeah, never mind. Just disappears. Just disappears. And then the second one, he's walking through the woods, like this, and then you suddenly hear, and he's like, Clem, is that you? Hey there, Robert, how's you going there, man? He's like, hey, you sounded pretty good on that there banjo. And he's like, oh, thank you, man, for practicing. You hear the second one. Who's that? Oh, that's Grandma. She's been practicing on it too. Yeah, we're going to be playing at the church festival, coming up here. It's like, oh, that's great. Can't wait to see you. God bless you, man. You have yourself a great one. You too there, bud. You never see Southerners in horror movies. Bubba and his 50. Yes, Mr. Andrat, Bubba and his 50. And good to see you. Glober Mom says, hello, everyone. Pleasure to have you here. And, he says, Jinju says, now you're going to make me go into the archives. Gladly at that. Yes, we have many archives because we've been doing this for 2 years.
I think maybe he was talking about the...
No, he's talking about our archives.
Charisma.
He's not talking about those archives. But they, yes. Last suggestion with regards to the Cenobites versus Deadites.
Could get pretty fucking weird.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, that could be interesting. We did do the Salem's Lot vampires versus the Howling werewolves. We did do that before. That's a bloodbath debate that we covered. So Cenobites versus Deadites, that's kind of neat. Not really, I mean, because the Deadites aren't really undead, and they're really hard to kill.
And they're fucking cool as shit. But
they're cool as shit, and funny as hell. Way funnier than Cenobites are. The question is, does comedy, get you any points in the bloodbath debate? Because, we'll laugh at Deadites.
Ever seen any of the Dale and Tucker versus Evil? Or Funny belongs in horror anything.
Well, Sheriff... We have had us a doozy of a day.
There's so many dead college kids.
So many dead college kids. Tyler the Bean was amazing in that. Charlie Welch says Daenerys Targaryen versus Quaid from Dragonheart.
Shit, we might have to start a second channel.
That's fantastic. I don't think Draco is going to listen to her at all. It's like, what are you doing to these dragons? All right. Okay.
So, hey, as JL likes to say,
as
Alex likes to say, we're here to talk about horror films.
So,
JL, why don't you fucking kick us off with a classic?
I will. We're going to go way back in the way back machine as soon as I pull my fucking notes up because...
He's got to pull his pants back up after that Pornhub adventure.
Shh, I'm not there yet. That's after the show. All right. So going way back in the way back machine. This movie released September 12th, 1958. And we're talking about...
You were like 6 then, right?
And we are talking about the B-movie drive-in thriller, The Blob.
Yeah, boy.
So, directed by Irvin Yeaworth and written by Kay Lineker, and starring a young Steve McQueen, legendary actor Steve McQueen, Annetta Corset, Earl Rowe, and Olin Howland. And this was early Steve McQueen. He was like 28 years old when he did this movie. But essentially, for those who have not seen it, or maybe you've seen the remake, but not this one, the plot is pretty much the same. Amoeba or amoeboid, or I don't know what the word is. What's the fucking word that they use? An alien amoeboidal entity crashes on Earth from outer space in a meteorite, and then proceeds to attack and absorb and dissolve the citizenry, getting bigger and redder and nastier and more aggressive as it goes along. And Steve McQueen must fight the evil entity. An absolute classic from the 50s, and pretty much ushered in the hallmark of the drive-in, the teen drive-in thriller. Pretty much kicked off with The Blob. They were predominantly from there because The Blob was kind of a legit horror film with some sci-fi edge to it. Whereas majority like that, aliens were pretty much robots and various other things, but it was The Blob that really made the drive-in scene the big hitter, which is really interesting. But yeah, a legendary film, and absolutely, and interesting in the fact that a lot of people didn't think this movie was going to do what it did. It just wasn't. They didn't anticipate it being the success that it was, and I don't know why, but obviously there's a whole ton of shit that goes into this film, like the inspirations that go into it and what the film alludes to. And I think that may have gone over some people's heads at the time, but we definitely get it now.
Yeah, it definitely. You got to think in the 1950s, 1958, you're towards the very end of the McCarthyism and stuff like that. So you still had this communism red scare, the Cold War still going on. The fact that the blob itself is red kind of gives you something, and it's just a spreading thing. And so tensions were tight between Russia and the United States. You got the space race going on, all this other kinds of stuff. And even during the space race, we were losing the space race. Most people don't know that. We lost until we put a man on the moon. Russia did everything else first. So with the spread of communism going on and America kind of feeling behind, it becomes an allegory for that. Now, like with a lot of great horror films, it's there, but it doesn't beat you over the top with it. It doesn't have a giant sickle and hammer on the blob as it's going like eating people and stuff like that. Yeah. But it kind of has the implications of it where you can watch it as just a monster flick that's fun. And especially during the time, this is the height of the atomic monsters and all sorts of kind of stuff. But at the same time, you can kind of get a little bit more out of it if you really kind of pay attention to it.
So this is what I'm getting. I'm envisioning this in my head now that you say it out loud. A bunch of late teen, early 20. Well, I guess maybe not because of the time period. So who would have been seeing it? Just these teenagers sitting on these fucking 55 Chevy hoods, just like, he's fucking, yeah, fight back against the commies. Like, yeah, kill that communist fucking blowout. And then they all got riled up against, this movie probably ended the Cold War. Germany saw how excited everybody got about fucking fighting back against the red, and then they were like, we should probably fuck off now.
Yeah, we're done.
It's a stretch, but I'm just imagining these kids like, fuck that blob up.
I loved it. I love the fact because we talk often about how horror films that that horror is always a reflection of the society of society at the time. It's always a way for people to deal kind of vicariously or cathartically with their anxieties. It's a barometer for what is ailing society, and this definitely was a major thing. As the story itself was, like you said, an allusion for the spread of communism. The idea that if communism gets into your country, it moves slowly but assuredly, and nothing stops it. The more it devours, the redder it gets, and the more aggressive it gets because more people begin to fuel it, and you lose.
You just haven't done it right.
Well, and the concept that you lose your identity because when you get swallowed up by it, you're no longer the individual. That was the big thing, is that when you get consumed by the blob, you're dissolved. You become a part of the blob. All you do is fuel the blob and keep the blob going. With communism, that was kind of like the American viewpoint on communism, is that there is no individual. Everybody works for the state. So that was the faceless, emotionless mass that was moving forward, just consuming everybody and taking everything from them and giving nothing back. And so that terror, and of course, he's getting red, like you said, getting redder and redder and redder as it moved along. And of course, how they defeated at the end was pretty much the ideology. The reason for the Red Scare, McCarthyism, was you stop it dead in its tracks. You freeze it. You just shut it down. And is precisely what they did in the movie, is they wound up freezing the blob by blowing up the refrigerator truck? Is that how they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They blow up the refrigeration truck, and that just freezes it solid. And then they take it and they drop it in Antarctica. Or they take it to either it's the Arctic Circle or Antarctica, but they drop it off to remain frozen. That was the only way that people felt you could stop, communism in its tracks. Other because it was so insidious, it would just sneak through. So you had to cut it, just basically stop it all at once. You couldn't just cut it off into pieces because it'll just keep spreading, which is in essence what we saw with the blob. And I thought that the illusion, and there was one of my favorite scenes, because I love the movie's use of miniatures. And because nowadays you look back and you're like, that movie theater is so fake. Because you look at it, it does not look real at all. It was kind of like I went back and watched the giant Gila monster or something. It was this old movie where they had a Gila monster that was attacking the populace, and they had a scene where the Gila monster is at the drive-in. It attacks the drive-in, so there's a little movie screen and there's little cars there. It's so obviously like they've pretty much just set up a little diorama of a movie screen with little cars in it and set the Gila monster loose on it. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. But the scene when the blob is coming when it's coming into the theater and it's coming through the windows and like that, and you can tell how they did it. It's the miniature set. They have the press behind it. They just press the liquid through the deals. And it looks cool, you know. And I was trying to think of that. They're all at the movie theater, distracted by something. You go to the movie to escape. You go to the movie to kind of escape your lives. It's escapism. And that was when the blob succeeded the most. It's when it killed the most people. Is when it attacked the movie theater when people were not paying attention because they were looking at something else. They were focused, so you had to be vigilant. And I love that they put that in there, that the time that we are the weakest is when we're just, when we're like watching movies or we're, entertaining ourselves. It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't be distracted by things. You must be ever vigilant for the creeping communism that's going to come through the movie theater windows to come and get you. And that's what I love that. It wasn't, I was kind of like, I see what you did.
Or lock the window or the communism's going to come in.
They're out there everywhere.
Close the vents.
Sputnik's up there. What's it doing? Floating up.
We got to scoop up all the commies and drop them off in Antarctica.
So
That's
I dug this one.
Red Dead.
It's when you look back at what was going on in the country, it's such a beautiful hallmark of the time. Kind of like this right here is the kind of like the commercialized like kind of artistic version of what we thought of, kind of like what the American perception. And you look at that and you look at now and you see the allusions to it. And I saw a lot of people in the live chat they watched the sequel. They saw the 1988 sequel, which also was good. I thought it was pretty decent.
I like it.
Shawnee Smith. But I thought that blob was particularly terrifying. That was a scary fucking blob. Yeah, I mean, I was afraid of garbage disposals for a while. And it wasn't because I didn't want to lose a hand. It's because I didn't want to get pulled into that little hole, which I imagine would suck balls. But yeah, the legacy of this film and the inspirations that came off of this is just phenomenal.
Legacy? What do you mean? It's not like they had this one and then a remake and they're talking about another remake. And but I mean, I kind of want to go back a little bit talking about the drive-in, the time period that this was out and how it went from being the second movie, the B movie shown at the double feature, which was paired with, I think we talked about this, was I Married a Monster from Outer Space, right? Here, I got this. Yeah, I Married a Monster from Outer Space. And we were talking about how, like you said, why was it overlooked at the beginning? And it really was. And after a few weeks of it being in the theaters as a B movie, they started showing it as the premiere because it really pushed forward as innovative. And like you said, more people were into it because of the time period, what was going on. But we're still talking about, what is it, 60? This movie was 63 years old now. And we still talk about it like as being a staple in horror because it was, it was so good. The original title of it was pretty cool though. What was it? The Molten Meteor.
Did you guys Blob is a better title.
The Blob, it came out as a better title because it was scary. The Blob, but yeah, no, you still see it referenced everywhere. And I didn't even pick it up until right now. I'm thinking about it. There's a Disney movie out. I have kids, so I see a ton of these. But there's a Disney movie out called Onward. It was a really good movie, but in the movie there is this big green gelatinous cube, and it like slowly moves towards you and dissolves everything and eats everything in its path. And it's like there's inspirations from this movie and movies from 60 something years ago till now. And it's still going. And they're coming out with a remake of it. And I'm gonna go see that, now. My parents as kids saw this, I saw it. My kids are going to be able to see it when they get a little older. The new remake, it's going to go on forever. The Blob is eternal.
Oh yeah, I mean the legacy in and of itself. I mean, I think of what I was reading about it's in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, which is one of the actual filming locations that appear in the film. They do an annual Blob Fest that is still going on. So they have a celebration in this tiny little town. They have the celebration for the big movie that put them on the map. There's stuff like that. Really, I think it's very cool that we keep seeing it, and that the concept, not only the concept behind it, the idea of an expressionless enemy spreading across and taking your individuality away is an enduring kind of idea that we as Americans must fight against. So it really is a uniquely American experience.
It's so
in that respect, just because and I like that. It's just kind of it's just a kind of a hallmark of who we are. And I just dig that. It's definitely a place as he's got the American flag tumbler.
And I'm drinking beer from the oldest American brewery right now. So America. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The individualism thing, it's something that we fought for. It's something that, America was based off of, being able to be yourself, and having a monster creeping up, taking that away from you, for some reason, has been a fucking theme since we built this fucking country. And it'll always be that way. Yeah, fuck you, I'm me. Go away.
Fantastic stuff. I think one of the coolest things about it is Steve McQueen took this job and didn't think he was going to make any money. He read the script and he was like, "Nah, this thing's going to be terrible." And so he took a reduced payment. He took $3,000 up front, which was his payment for the time. So $3,000 in 1958 was pretty good, but for him and the money commanded was not a lot of money. But he needed rent, he needed food, so he took the $3,000 payment because he needed money up front. Just like, well, we can only give you $3,000 up front. It's like, okay, I'll take it, but he got it into his contract 10% of the profits. And the film was budgeted at $120,000, and they only spent $110,000. So they actually came in under budget on them, which is an amazing thing for the time. Only spent $110,000 going like this, and this fucker, what was it? Grossed, I think, and I want to make sure I get the number right, $4 million at the box office in 1958.
In 1958,
yeah,
and he got 10% of that.
It's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. So that's just kind of the fun of, just like, acting, you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of like the decision that Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher made on Star Wars, that they weren't sure if it was going to be a big success. So they took a percentage of the gross and percentage of the merchandising, and they took reduced pay up front. But Mark Hamill, he needed the money. So he took the full payment up front with no points on the back end. And you kind of see how that played out. We love Mark Hamill, but I mean, obviously his career kind of there for a while until it took him a lot longer, because you got to have money to be able to sustain it. You can't just take every single job. If you've got the money coming in, then you can choose the roles you want to take instead of having to do every single job that comes along. And
that's not necessarily true. Look at Nick Cage.
But that's why you see things. That's why you saw like Mark Hamill in what was it? Pink Cadillac? Oh, was Pink Cadillac? No, it was like the Camaro movie. I can't remember. Oh, License to Drive? No, that was Corey Haim. I can't fucking remember. It was a movie where he basically drove this wacky ass car across country. You see, or you see Mark Hamill in The Guyver. Okay, but you see like Harrison Ford in Apocalypse Now, and that came before, but like fucking Indiana Jones and Witness and stuff like that, where it carries on from there. And that's what you got to do. But Steve McQueen, he took it home with that one. See what's going on here in the chat real quick. And Alex, I sent you a message if you want to double check that. I got to go back because there was a lot of conversation here.
Dude, how did you make it so small?
You could always check the private chat in the deal. The private chat in StreamYard.
No, I was done. Never mind.
I know. Exactly.
Nail Gun Killer versus the Exterminator.
That could be interesting. Oh, I like Children of the Corn versus Valley of the Dolls. I was also thinking we also have a possibility of Children of the Corn versus Village of the Damned. So
yeah,
that was a possibility. That's a possibility. It's in the air.
We gotta get the black-eyed children in there at some point.
Kyle Eder says, still haven't seen the original, but the 1988 remake was absolutely fantastic, especially the practical gore. It was freaky as hell. It really, really was.
I love the 1988 remake.
Yeah, Alpha K91 says, or the spread of Jello. Depends upon your POV. Come on, everybody loves Jello. Nerd Journal, good to see you. Says, hello, good people. Good to see you. Alpha K91 says, Blob 2, global warming.
The Blob comes back. Eco horror.
We lost Antarctica. It's returning. There actually was a Blob 2. I think it was called. I think it was it Son of the Blob?
What?
No, it was Beware the Blob.
Beware the Blob was.
It was Beware the Blob, and it was starring Larry Hagman.
Yeah,
from Dallas, and as a kind of like tie-in, they called it the film JR shot.
The movie that JR shot.
The movie that JR shot, instead of like the
Who Shot JR.
Who Shot JR. It was a play on the Who Shot JR.
Yeah.
All right. Christopher Music Channel says, hello. So sorry for being late. My trivia answer is David Hasselhoff in Roger Corman's Star Crash. Oh yeah, for the win. I don't know how they do this. Alpha K91 says, I love the hilarious Gila Monster movie. That movie was great. I just enjoyed it.
Oh, the Gila Monster movie. Dude, fucking Llamageddon. I'm sorry. I had to throw this in here because
I told you about this movie.
Because you mentioned it, and then it came up again in my life, and I was like, fuck it, and so I watched it. And if you've got an hour to fucking kill and just laugh your ass off at a low budget fucking just... Oh, it's funny. It's good.
Alien llama descends. It descends on Teenage Party. It can't get any better than that.
Oh, murderous space llama.
The plot hole's in the house. Good to see you, Johnny O. He's our other co-host. He's taking the night off. And Rodino, last name says the Blob versus the Stuff. But one of them is sweet. The other one is not. One gets you from the outside. One gets you from the inside.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Both at the same time.
Gross. Let's see what else we got. Catnip Entertainment is in the house. Says hello, Catnip Entertainment. Good to see you.
What's up, Catnip?
Tony Regime says, Alex, if you have to watch Disney films with the kids, try Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I responded, definitely fucking demonic circus for the win.
Oh, Week in Horror. Tony Regime says it's a similar theme to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yes, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which was a pull from, or kind of riff off of Heinlein's The Puppet Masters. All right, Plot Hole says Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh, he would. Yeah, he's a PBR. Yeah, I can see him drinking PBR.
I mean, Youngling is pretty much the same shit.
This is true. Tony Regime is right. Mark Hamill also had that nasty accident. He did. He was in a bad accident. The
accident, where he came back to Star Wars? Was that the accident?
I think it was in between 2 and 3.
No, that was a joke.
No, it actually occurred. It actually occurred to like you could tell there was a point. I think it was in between 2, or was it in between 1 and 2?
I'm actually not sure.
In between New Hope and Return of the Empire, or sorry,
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. Shut up! I do horror movies, and I'm a Star Trek fan.
Meanwhile, I've got the fucking Star Wars box set of soap from Dr. Squatch sitting on my fucking...
Thank you, Rodin. Last name.
He's got a New Hope soap.
Thank you, Rodin. Last name. That was Corvette Summer was the movie that he was in. I couldn't remember that name.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was Corvette Summer. Hamill was in Corvette Summer with Annie Potts.
Oh, shit.
I got a lot of that, yeah.
I got to put that in my queue now because I fucking forgot about that movie.
Let me see. Tony Regime said there's a video game of a llama invasion where you have to kill the llamas. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
That's called Fortnite,
right? All right. So, but yes, that gives us an opportunity to talk to to ask the live chat, to ask the audience. There is a new one coming up, a new remake coming up of this film. It was announced in August 2009 that Rob Zombie was going to work on a remake of The Blob, but he has since left the project, and it was updated in January of 2015 that Zombie was replaced by Simon West as director, and it would be produced by Richard Saperstein and Brian Whitten, and together with the producer of the original film, Jack Harris, as an executive producer. And so that is currently in the works. It was delayed because of the log allergy thing going on outside, but hopefully it'll get back on track here soon. But they are doing another remake. So I'm kind of curious. Do people want that? It's been a while. The last remake we had of the Blob was 1988. There hasn't been a Blob movie since. There's only been kind of tongue-in-cheek references to it. So is it time? Is it time to do a remake of this, or should we just let the Blob lie, frozen in the in the frozen north, or frozen in Antarctica, never to return again? Just leave it to history. Let us know. Let us know in the live chat or the comments below, or hit us up at weekinhorror@gmail.com.
I'd be kind of honestly, like, I don't like a lot of remakes, but I think the Blob is kind of okay, just because the villain is so simple.
Yeah.
On it, it's a giant gelatinous blob kind of thing. So I think it would honestly be okay for a remake versus killers that have certain personality traits, or they're played by iconic people, and they just have this kind of this whole detail thing. With the Blob, it's just a giant blob that came from space.
Yeah.
That's it.
Kyle Eder says, I do, but only if they commit to doing practical effects. If it's going to end up being a CGI fest, I won't be so interested. I have to agree.
I agree.
It's gotta be practical.
I think you could fuck it up if you didn't use practical.
Yeah.
effects.
Try to do a CGI Blob? Nah. Practical effects like in 1988.
Yeah.
All right. So let's carry on. Eugene.
Carry on.
I knew you're gonna like this one.
This was actually not what I expected it to be. I really did not see this one coming. But released September 14th, 1999, we have the movie Hardware.
Hi. Sorry.
And so directed by Richard Stanley, and it stars Dylan McDermott, Stacey Travis, John Lynch, William Hawkins, and Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop surprised me also.
Don't forget Lemmy was in this movie
can't
too.
fucking forget the head fucking Motorhead. Fuck, Lemmy.
Lemmy Kilmister was in this bad boy.
Motorhead frontman is the word I was trying to fucking
I think Carl McCoy, Iggy Pop, and fucking Lemmy were in this motherfucker. So if you want to do post-apocalyptic, you got to get those cats.
Oh yeah.
And then you got fucking Stanley, with his music video background. It was good.
So basically what you have is it's set in a post-apocalyptic future, and Dylan McDermott, who plays a soldier, stumbles across some parts to a robot, and so he collects these parts to go bring them back to his girlfriend, and the parts start assembling themselves, and it turns out to be like a killer robot that tries to kill everybody on it. It was interesting. Like, it really was.
What was the tagline to it? It was it activates, it exhilarates, it exterminates.
I love it. I don't think the other one, what was it directly off of the poster here? It's welcome to the 21st century. Guess what's become the planet's most endangered species?
Man.
Hardware. You can't stop progress. Like, fucking A, man.
Fucking very iRobot-esque.
I fucking, for one, I loved this movie. Especially, for the year that it came out. This is 1990. The idea of like post-apocalyptic futures, like in the vein of like steampunk, of Judge Dredd, of any of this was, those were down the line. Richard Stanley, the director Richard Stanley, is one of my favorite directors. He's got a unique vision. He's up there with directors like Panos Cosmatos. He's got a really cool approach, and I think it's the music video background that you're talking about, that he has that visual flair and that style of how you shoot a music, and he likes to bring that to feature film, and I think it lends itself beautifully, which is why The Color Out of Space works so well, because he took a hiatus. He took a 20-year hiatus after the debacle that was The Island of Dr. Moreau. The set was insane. He kind of lost his mind. He flipped out. They fired him, brought in Frankenheimer. Frankenheimer was a tyrant. Marlon Brando didn't want to act, and fucking Val Kilmer's like, oh, Val Kilmer, oh shit. David Thewlis is like, what the fuck is going on? So I can imagine that, but I love his energy, what he brings to it, and how he creates a scene is really fucking cool. And not to mention Dylan McDermott, man. Dylan McDermott is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and when you're looking at stuff like this, this kind of Mad Max-esque, I know there's not inspiration, but like fucking like Blade Runner and stuff. You take like this, pop nihilism, I guess would be a word. But these reds and these oranges and this movie being shot, for I think it was like $1.5 million on a single set. And then you add this kind of goes back to the Blob almost, when you add these real life things like this post-apocalyptic kind of feel. It's kind of early for its time. I guess thinking about it in 1990, this movie would kind of hit today for sure because
he was saying that. Well, the inspiration of the film, I mean, he did it like short. It was like a short film.
So
originally, and then this kind of grew out of that. But he started making this when he got back from Afghanistan.
Yeah,
and
so
following around a guerrilla unit.
Which is fucking insane. But in 1990, yeah, it would have been rough. But yeah, no, you're talking about the short story called Shock, I believe it was called. That this kind of played off of. And when you first put this out there, you were talking about this movie, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I watched it, and then I did the research on it because you're like looking to, what was going on with Stanley. And you're absolutely right. That dude went through the fucking ringer, even to get to this point. But this short story, Shock, I read about it, and immediately I remember seeing a short film about it. And I don't know if it was Shock that I saw or if it was another, something that was from it, but it was an artist, and her boyfriend gifts her, like the one that I saw gifted her something, and then she's in there like creating art, and it eventually comes to life and fucking murders her. But that's kind of like the Shock, and then it was kind of moved into this. But just watching, honestly though, back to the way that the movie's filmed, the color usage, the cinematic usage, the way that this is just. You can tell everything got put into this. And after all the shit that Stanley went through, especially following around a guerrilla unit in Afghanistan, you're going to have a different fucking point of view on human life. And
it kind of puts a different spin when you look at the robot, like the robot itself, and that, the fucking stars and stripes on that motherfucker. So it kind of puts a different spin. It's like, I watched it again, and I was kind of like, couldn't stop thinking about Borat. We support your war of terror, and I'm kind of like, yeah. So in 1990, this was ahead of its time, which is probably why it didn't ring really well with a lot of critics, because it's kind of
it was so real, like it's so like it felt like you were stuck in post-apocalyptic America, I guess.
He also, I know, I was taking a look at it. It's like part of the themes in it is because it was what he witnessed in South African apartheid.
You know how hard it was to find all that any information on his time over there? It was so hard to dig that out of the internet.
It's crazy. It's wild shit. Like really dark, like really dark stuff. But a lot of some of the themes in it, like passive acceptance of authoritarianism, fascism, things like that. Was essentially those came from his time when he was in South Africa when it was under apartheid, and what he was witnessing going on around him, and the fact that he was with a Muslim guerrilla group in Afghanistan, basically on patrol with them, and the devastation and the things that he saw in Afghanistan, the things he saw in South Africa, and of course the things from his personal life. It's just wild, and all of that is expressed in the film. I almost saw it as like this film is, number one, it contains many of the things he absolutely loves. Music videos, it's got music icons like metal icons in it that are just real legends. Lemmy Kilmister and fucking Iggy Pop. And so he got to play with the things that he loves. He got to work in the format that he loves, and he got to express all the shit that he saw. Like, this is like, I was like, what the fuck? And put it all into one film. I felt after watching I think this movie was very cathartic. That this was his catharsis. He had this idea, and he was like, I've got to get this all out all at once. And that's what I think it was. It was just, this is just his darkness all thrown on film, which I think made for an awesome. I think that's why it was so real, because you can identify with the film on so many different levels.
Especially when Jill was watching TV while she was making the sculpture. And Guar is on the music. Guar.
Let's see. Ronald's name says cameo by Lemmy of Motorhead as the water taxi driver plays Motorhead on the tape deck, and he's fucking A. He does. Miss Randrad, he says he's got Bubba Hotep. Need to watch though. Bubba Hotep is amazing. Bruce Campbell was off the fucking chain.
Bubba Hotep,
he's hilarious.
Really
he's hilarious as the pissed off Elvis. He's fucking great.
Here's my little bit of trivia for this movie too. Lemmy, when he had the bottle of scotch and the Magnum revolver, he emptied the bottle and drew the gun out from his shoulder holster, and it slipped out of his hand and sank into the river. It was like an actual, it was like a nice Magnum gun. And so they sent divers to go get it, but they never found it.
Oh, that sucks.
Lost like a fucking $800 gun in that river, and it was just gone. Yeah, it probably is. It's probably still there.
Now, see, this is really, really interesting, and I'm glad that Tony Regine brought it up. So it says the robot had similarities to the ABC Warriors from the comic 2000 AD.
Yes,
and it's interesting that you bring it up because this okay, so making hardware was a different story than trying to actually get this thing out to the masses. So yes, you are correct. There are similarities from there, and guess what? The publishers of 2000 AD, they saw it too. And they're like, there's some similarities here to a Judge Dredd story that appeared in 2000 AD that we can't just let go. So first and foremost, it has to be said, when he shot this fucker and he put it out there, at first they had to dodge the X rating that they were hit with for the sheer violence and gore in this movie. So what you see is actually not as bad as it was because there is no uncut version of this film. And so they had to dodge the X rating. They finally got underneath there because Stanley was like, I can't have this movie be associated with porn. I can't do that. So
it was the same thing on the Australian release. It almost had the M rating in Australia,
right.
Which is the same thing.
So he had to trim it down to get the R rating, which successfully he did. So he gets that. But then come the legal issues. And getting sued, the lawsuit from the publishers of 2000 AD is invariably what set up this bad boy not getting a DVD release for almost 20 years.
Well, and also, so you're kind of skipping over something there. The 2000 AD magazine is where that short story Shock was published.
Yeah.
And so they didn't get a based on credit at the beginning when the film first released. And then they didn't even get a credit until the 2009 DVD release. And they finally credited it after... that's because it was so similar to so many things, but just different enough to kind of skate over everything.
It's kind of like Cameron with the Terminator.
Yeah.
And in that legal battle, so he had to finally give credit to Harlan Ellison.
He's like, fine, whatever.
At the end of it, he's like, fine, I give you a fucking credit. And he's like, you stole my story.
Here's your name, you whiny bitch. Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, the legal troubles that got this movie slammed with, eventually ended up delaying it. But we finally got a cut on DVD. It took I think it was 19 years to finally get this movie to home.
It was 19 fucking years.
But at least we finally got it. I definitely wanted to. I mean, I love the fact that you guys got to watch this thing. I watched it years ago. But Eugene, what did you think of the robot, man? Just as far as I know you love practical effects. What did you think?
See, honestly, I thought it was great. I did notice some Terminator similarities here and there, with like the red eyes and stuff like that, just because it's so iconic. But I thought it was creative. It was the fact putting it together. It fit the aesthetic. I always love the practical effect. I love when you have the characters interacting with the practical effects. With it, I loved it. I did. I loved it. In terms of the movie as a whole, it's pretty fun and it's pretty entertaining. With the post-apocalyptic and the way it was shot and everything like that. But the robot was awesome. It just sucks that they stole it from Judge Dredd.
Well, Tony Regime says the most quoted line from the Terminator was from a vigilante film called The Exterminator. Nothing is original. Everybody rips from something. I can tell you. I can even tell you when I was writing Nail Gun. Because the short, not so much the short film is an amalgamation of shit from the feature. When I was writing the feature, I pulled from some of the stuff there, as I consider them homages. that I'm paying homage to my favorite things by us recreating them. But there's stuff that you can say, oh, this is from this movie. This is from this movie. Yes, because it's fucking cool. That's what works. It's like you go with what works. It's not theft. It's paying respect.
It's paying homage.
It's an homage. It's not. I couldn't think of anything better.
Yes, it's like I want people to think about that.
It's funny because they keep doing that over and over again, and they pretend like that's not what's going on, but they're going to continue to bounce off of each other and not give each other credit. Fuck.
Oh, apparently,
welcome to Hollywood.
What was this? Someone said that I should write Someone said I should write the script to something. I'm not 100% sure. Chris Terror Music Channel said Resident Elvis. It's a story about a zombie Elvis trying to find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a post-apocalyptic nightmare dreamscape. Oh,
hold
apparently
on.
I'm supposed to write that one.
Hold on. It's peanut butter and bacon, bro. I
thought it was peanut butter and banana.
Peanut butter, bacon, and banana.
Peanut butter, bacon.
That was I think that was his sandwich. They had one at you go to Witch and fucking order the Elvis, and that's what it was.
Oh man, let me see here real quick. Sir Little Wolf is in the chat. Good to see you, Sir Little Wolf.
What's up, dude?
Oh, Glow Rob says when we said she was 25 when this movie came out. She's like, damn, I was 25.
Also, Global Mom asked about NC-17. NC-17 rating came out later the same year, so it wasn't there just quite yet. But I know a lot of films were like, well, we don't want to have that porn stigma with the X rating, so they came out with NC-17. So it's about like a month away.
It sounds so much more innocent than X rating.
I actually would have preferred the X rating. Oh, we got the X rating.
NC-17 is like, man, this sounds like a fucking teeny bopper movie. We're gonna see some fucking, teen dreams. No.
Wrote it no last name. Says 2000 AD is producing a Dread TV show called Mega City 1. They may have filmed the pilot in her shopping. I heard about this, and from what I understand, Carl Urban is returning. That's what I heard. Yeah, so because he loved playing Dredd in the Dredd film.
He was the best Dredd.
God, he was the shit.
He was so good.
That was
the only reason that movie fucking made it was because of it. That's the only thing you could focus on the whole movie was his acting. He was great.
He was fantastic. Even you can't see my face, you can only see my mouth. My voice really doesn't change, and he's still fucking badass. That's the legend that is Carl Urban. And it was I give it to him because he did that voice, and that voice like fucked him up doing the Judge Dredd voice, like messed up his vocal cords. And so he had to go through like vocal rehabilitation to get his voice back.
Worth it.
Doing it, but like, fuck it, man. Sacrifice for the art. That dude goes for the play. He'll go right into the wall to get the balls. Love it. I can't wait to see it. There's a lot of talk about that. Tony Regime says one of the artists who drew for 2000 AD also drew Tank Girl and then went on to be a part of the Gorillaz with Damon Albarn from Blur. Very cool. I can see that. I can see that connection. That's really neat.
Awesome.
No, I was just going to say, done.
Well, I want to ask the audience is because this is hardware is basically a one of, and in the world of sequels and remakes, should there be a sequel that comes out 30 years later? So should there be a sequel that comes out, or maybe a remake? Because the film being ahead of its time didn't resonate as much with the generation at the time, but maybe with now times it could resonate more. We could kind of see more of it on it. Sci-fi being really big right now. So should we see a sequel or remake of it?
See, I'm laughing because if you did it, you could remake it now and you'd be a lot closer to real life than it was back in 1990. Oh, fuck.
This is supposed to be the future, not now.
Turns out it is.
Someone asked me what my plans were for the fall, and I was like, are you talking about the season or the fall of humanity? Because I have plans for both.
I have plans for both. Rodanilla says, actually, I have a story I need to pitch to you. You'd be the perfect scriptwriter. We should have a video chat. Well, sure, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Just message me on Discord, and we'll try and set that up because the schedule has been crazy busy with Texas Frightmare weekend, so it'll probably be after this weekend at the earliest because I'm really swamped with scripts and all kinds of stuff. I just finished one for Johnny O, finished one for Eugene, got a feature there. I was like, when you're awesome and everybody wants to get a hold of you. What do you do? You know, it's so nice being wanted.
Oh God.
Sir Little Wolf, good to see. Says so tired of remakes, but Tony Regime says a remake would be good. I think it could be interesting. I'm kind of curious where they'd set it. Possibly it'd be really good. But what about if they set it in North Korea?
I mean, have you been following the news? You wouldn't be far off.
I like that. Like North Korea, you know, like a futuristic North Korea. And at one point in North Korea's history, they tried to like create robots to like enforce shit. And then, you know, obviously the fall of North Korea, it's post-apocalyptic. People are shifting to the wasteland. They come across this North Korean robot that used to do this. And then the North Korean robot comes up and starts doing what it did. Yeah, I think that'd be great. That would work.
Bro, and it could all take place kind of like right in the demilitarized zone between the two countries. You know, that's where everybody has to be. And then outside of that is the wasteland.
Oh, dude, you could do like a village thing. No, where it's all taking place in North Korea. But when you pull back, it's all in, like, North Korea is all enclosed. Like, the whole world is fine. Like, you set it up so it looks post-apocalyptic, but it's not. It's just North Korea.
See, they did something like that in The Outer Limits, where it was these people that were like these robots went and took over, and you had these people inside this walled city, and so the people were basically slaves as the robots ran everything, and eventually the people, because they're constantly told was like apocalypse happened and all, so the robots won, and this is like basically got slave camp. Well, eventually people rose up, took out the robots. And when they go on the other side of the wall, everything's like perfectly fine. So like the robots that took over are all gone. Nature already took back over. It's like lush, it's fresh. And they asked the robots, and the robots, well, yeah, we stopped receiving transmission like 200 years ago. We're just following our programming.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. Yeah.
Wait a minute. If the war was over, you never asked.
Nobody ever asked.
Nobody ever asked.
Did nobody ever ask? Dude, what the fuck?
Jinju says, Hardware 2, torque my lug nuts. That's amazing. Oh, I saw somebody else new in there. CPM is in the house. Good to see you, CPM. Says, hello, all. And I could have sworn I saw somebody else new.
Angie's here, too.
Again. Who is?
Angie's here, too.
Oh, hi, Angie.
Angie, good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. Oh, Plotto says, Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what was this? It said, Road No Name says, Jail, I am off to Wasteland in 36 hours. It's the Mad Max experience out there in the desert.
Is that like Burning Man?
Kind of like Burning Man, but kind of like Burning Man, but way more, I guess.
For people that are into BDSM?
Way more football pads and spikes.
Yeah.
Oh, the old style Mad Max. So the hockey mask, the spikes, and then a G-string.
Exactly. That's all you need. As long as your armor rating is high, you're good to go.
Ronan, we're going to need some pictures from that.
Yes,
pictures from that. And he says it's been knocking around in my head for near 30 years, so I can wait a few weeks. Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, so whenever you get back, we'll definitely talk about that. So
Hardware 2.
Cool.
Wally hits puberty.
That's amazing. All right.
Mommy robot loves a baby, loves a mama robot.
Oh, apparently, so Little Wolf says, or how Dana Carvey developed face problems from playing Garth. Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'll have to look into that. That's wild. But yeah, it's a reference to Carl Urban fucking up his voice to play Dredd, and the fact that he's willing to go back to it again. But as much as I want to see Mega City 1 with Carl Urban, I cannot wait for The Boys Season 3. I can't. I'm on the edge of my seat with that damn show.
Bro, seriously, like when the fuck is it? How do you end a season like that and then just sit on it for like a fucking year?
Fucking just that season finale, dude, when the kids accidentally killed his wife. She's dead. He's got the crowbar. He's looking at the kid, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great." And then Homelander drops in the middle of it, and I was like, like fucking Stormfront's over there going like, "Irk, irk," and Homelander was like, this is a recipe for really bad shit.
A lot of really bad things have happened up to this point, but this is going to be worse.
I'm just saying, when you had Homelander, it was like Homelander, and they had like the squad of like soldiers, right? in the house, and he's just like, where's my son?
Where's my son?
And you're like,
they're all putting I think they're all kind of like, every one of those dudes like, we're so fucking dead.
You got him. You got him. We're fucked.
I was like, let me look outside. I'm gonna go check. It's like
the one who got lasered first is like, that's the lucky one.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to see him come back in The Boys season 3. I think it's gonna be fantastic. And of course, because I don't know how they're gonna diverge from the comics. I just know it's gonna get bloody and it's gonna get amazing. Oh man. Oh,
whoo. But anyways, continuing on with our program. Alex, what do we have next?
God, I love this movie. It's so
This
underrated.
is great. Total left turn from what we've been talking about for sure. We'll go with The Cleansing Hour. This came out September 16th, 2019. This movie was directed by Damon Levesque, starring Ryan Guzman, Kyle Gallner, Alex Angelis, Chris Lukumhoy, Daniel Hoffman-Gill, Emma Holter, and Joanna David. This movie was great. As JL liked to call it, the Millennial Exorcism.
Millennial exorcist. It's not a bad thing.
It's not. Just, no. And so you say that, but then it's like, that's not even what it is. It's these two childhood friends, Max and Drew, host a internet TV show live stream called The Cleansing Hour, where the character that he plays, Father Max, exorcises a quote unquote possessed person every episode. You find out that it's kind of fake, and then Drew's fiance steps in when Derek doesn't show up for a show, and so they start doing the fake exorcism, except they fucked up and actually like ended up possessing Lane, and this demon just starts fucking murdering the crew members, and shit goes fucking sideways real quick, and then yeah, there's a lot that plays into this with like the Catholic religion and Catholic school and abuse in Catholic schools, and it really it's kind of a fun new age take on an old horror story.
Oh, definitely. I did call this one the The Exorcist for millennials, and in the essence, and the reason I pulled it is because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously, modern technology. So you've got the advent of the internet. You've got live streams like we're doing right now. And it's the two guys who are basically saying, it's like, we do live exorcism, but all of it's bullshit. It's all a fake show that they put on, and
kind of like ours.
And they sell things, they merchandise shit. So they like have like merchandise, like prayer cloths, and various other shit that they sell. That and like holy
get a gallon of holy water,
and the fucker's dude is not even a fucking priest. So. They're pretty much just doing it for the fun of it, and then of course, then the one night, and live streaming the whole thing, playing their characters. The guy running crew, the guy pretty much running the crew is like he knows it's bullshit. They all do, and then obviously the person they're supposed to have get possessed disappears because taken out by the actual evil, and then the girlfriend's going to step in, though the fiance's going to step in and do it, and. Like you said, shit goes fucking sideways when she winds up getting really possessed.
She wasn't even just a little possessed; it was all the fucking way possessed.
Yeah.
But the thing, and the reason I came down on it being the exorcism for the millennial or for the millennial generation is because the mentality of everybody going on is not infected. I don't think infected is a good word. It's not constrained to the mentality of like when The Exorcist came out, when they are coming off of the 50s, the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, and the mentality when The Exorcist came out, you're looking at, just to double check, you're looking at the end, or was it pretty much the end of Vietnam, or Vietnam was still going on at the time?
I think it came out 72.
I want to double check. Yeah, I just want to double check that because the influence of the geopolitics were a big influence there, and. Exorcist was 73. You're right. Exorcist was 73.
So 73, and Vietnam ended in 75. So yeah, Vietnam, it was towards the tail end. Like the U.S. is already starting withdrawals and stuff.
We already knew we fucked up at that point.
Yeah.
So you have the state of the nation going on like this. So this is the mentality of the people you have. And not to mention you have adults, you have individuals, not Linda Blair's character, not Regan. You have everybody else. Her mother, the priest, are much, much older. These are people that grew up in the 30s, in the 40s, and the 50s. So dealing with the Max von Sydow's character who's much, much older. It's probably born in the 20s and is now dealing with the situation here in the 70s. So when you have that kind of mentality dealing with this particular situation, the ideologies, or I basically said the held ideologies regarding Catholicism, regarding exorcism, were much, much different. So you get a far different look at this one. Nowadays, 2020, this movie came out 2019, and was exclusive to Shudder. It's still on Shudder if you want to check it out. Now we're in an age where atheistic ideologies, or atheism, is much more prevalent. It's much more more people are atheists and are more out as it. It's a national talking subject. So you have people who don't believe in these things. You have this from the aspect of the non-believer then suddenly being thrust into a situation where they have to believe because now all of a sudden it's real. Oh my God, I had no idea. So you have to deal with that. Not to mention there was the internet. Everybody's watching. You're getting views. There's live reactions. With The Exorcist, it's a private affair. It's in the house. It's the priest, it's the mom, it's Regan, and Pazuzu. Where in this one, and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil I'm not going to spoil what she was possessed by because I want that's a cool twist of the movie.
It was socialism.
I don't know if I could follow that. But yeah, so invariably you have a completely different ideology. You have all eyes on you. The whole, virtually, we could say the internet is watching. The whole world is watching. You're getting millions upon millions of views and reactions. And that changes the dynamic, especially when it's non-believers dealing with, real shit going on. So I really thought this was cool. It was a new take on it, and I've got to give props to the actress. Oh, I totally don't. I don't want to mess her name up.
What? Who? Lane? Alex Angeles?
Alex Angeles. Holy shit!
Yeah.
The performance she turned in, strapped to that fucking chair.
Yeah,
was
the
next level.
Even from the beginning, before she was possessed, she played the perfect just that kind of that age group, our age group, kind of girlfriend, and it's I really don't like what you're doing, but I'm supportive, and then she's like, okay, I'll step in, and she gets, it's just a complete 180. It's you have to do two totally different characters, but you also have to keep that aspect of the first one throughout the film because she did such a good job. Just being possessed was that's got to be a hard role to fill, and she killed it.
Yeah.
Ironically, because she killed a lot of fucking people.
And I love it. I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I know because the vast majority of the effects in this were done in camera. That this was a lot of practical effects, and I know that. And Eugene, I know you love practical effects. So.
Oh yeah, this is in terms of the practical effects. They go. Everything is practical except for the fire. So the fire is obviously CG, and it's just a fire stunt costs $50,000.
Yeah.
From the stuntman to all the safety procedures and everything like that. It's about anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 depending on the size of that. So CG is just cheaper. It'll cost maybe say $5,000 to do a good CG or decent CG effect on it. But in terms of everything else, the practicality of it, walking on the glass, getting tongue pulled out, falling on the pencil, head on the stove on the burner. Ow. Everything on top of that was.
The end sequence. Yeah, that the end sequence was fucking. Those fucking brutal shit, dude. That poor dude was surrounded. He's kind of
he was fucked.
What the fuck is happening?
On it. And this is the thing, is I'm really glad to see that films are going back more towards the practical side of it, because even on a cost wise, you look at a practical effect versus say CG blood. At best, the cost is about the same because you hire a CGI artist to go and they have to render the blood and all sorts of kinds of stuff on it. If it's going to cost about the same, you might as well go practical. It always looks more brutal because it's not the perfections that make it look great. It's the imperfections of it. It's the fact that it's not perfect because not in real life, gore doesn't look cinematic.
No.
It just doesn't.
It's the inconsistency that makes it real.
Yeah,
exactly.
One of my favorite recent movies came out. Yeah, I think in 2018 was The Void, and the only reason The Void worked were because they were all practical effects because those monsters were authentically there, and the actors are responding to the giant behemoth that's an amalgamation of everything that I guess the like the 1-ton monster that came out of a little girl. That was practical effects, and I loved it. And those guys, because obviously, and one of the things that you can tell when the actors are reacting to CGI, when in actuality it's like a stick with a fucking tennis ball on it. Oh, I'm so terrified. But no, dude, when that thing monster comes out of there and it's like, blah, and then like McCready's kind of like, what the Kurt Russell's like, holy shit. Okay, that's why practical effects. Come on, best example is The Thing. Kurt Russell lighting the dynamite after the scene when Windows gets killed, because we have to burn Windows, and then the monster that was Palmer crashes through the wall. It's on fire. Oh, and head's flapping everywhere, and it walks out into the snow. And McCready comes out there with the fucking dynamite, lights that shit, and goes boom, and blows that fucker up. And the look on Russell's face, because that explosion was not fake. That was a reduced stick of dynamite that he threw. So, and I was listening to the commentary, and Kurt said that it stunned him. Like he had no concept of that kind of explosion. And because he lit it, and they said, "Don't worry, it's reduced. We've reduced the amount of black powder in it. It's not going to be that. It's not as big as it could be." And he was like, "Okay, no problem." So he because not all those sticks were dynamite. It was literally, I think it was like
the cardboard tubes.
Exactly. So he lights it and then he throws it. That thing went off, and that moment when he's kind of like looking at it like, that was him just kind of like, what the fuck?
This is no Black Cat, bro.
And I thought M80s were bad, but yeah, I mean, that's what makes these things fantastic. Why are you showing those?
This is how country we are.
But I love it, and CGI will never replace it. And I think that's what was great about this one. The transition as she gets worse and worse, and as the possession begins to alter and I guess mutate her body and shit. Wrote in last name. Perfect. The chest burster scene in Alien.
Yeah.
Which nobody saw coming.
Well, and another thing is, it's awesome when you're working with badass like makeup and special effects teams, the amount of creativity and how they're able to build. It's like, we need a prosthetic that can do this, that looks like this. And one of the last shoots I was on, someone got shot in the head and they wanted the top of the skull to come off and like flap off and everything like that. So they put in an actual pump in it. So you had blood and then an air pump. So the pump itself would pump it open so blood would come out. And then they had somebody else with a blood container off screen holding it up so the blood would go through the tube and ooze out of their face. Nice. That's fucking creative.
That's pretty brilliant. Yeah.
They
did that. I think they did that. Kevin Smith did that in a film in an early. It wasn't one of his films, it was directed by somebody else, but it was a film called Vulgar. And it was, it's a goofy fucking movie. I mean, it's kind of one of the lesser known Kevin Smith films. Kevin Smith's in it, Jason Mewes is in it. The whole it's Universe guys are in it. But there's a scene when Ethan Suplee, who is in the movie, you remember Ethan Suplee, he's a big guy. He's fucking shredded now, but he used to be a really big guy. There's a scene where, because he plays an idiot, because he plays kind of a slow person, and he's fiddling with somebody's gun and looking down the barrel when he does it. He ends up shooting himself in the face. So they shot that. It was in camera. Like he pulled the trigger and shot himself in the face with I think it was like a 44 caliber weapon, or is he a high, a big revolver?
A good size, yeah.
So he shoots himself like point blank in the face, and they had to shoot that. Because the camera's like right at him. And so how they pulled that off was really, really neat. Is they had basically a fake face set up on Ethan Suplee, and that was connected by sections. Those sections had strings that went along the side of his head. Okay, and then when they pulled the trigger, there's the pop and then the puff of smoke. The smoke is what covered the movement of the strings when they were yanked back and they ripped off of his face to indicate his face being blown away. And then the makeup underneath that it was what was exposed and what was done. And then the editing is like, bam. So it was like, boom. And then and then they cut away. So you get the red, you get the pieces flying about, you get the smoke kind of obscuring things. And then he's like, And then that was how they did him shooting himself in the face.
That was a fucking amazing story.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's brilliant how they do this shit, man, and that's what made this one great. It was not only just the effects, the in-camera effects and how they pulled them off, the stuff that they did with her, the fucking pulling the shit out of her throat. That was seamless.
Yeah,
I mean, the editing on this was phenomenal.
It is perfect because when you think about, not only is it special effects and the amount of creativity and amount of work that goes behind it, you have to shoot it in a way and edit it in such a way so you get the maximum impact of it. So when you're talking about like Ethan Suplee's face, cutting that in a way so you get the maximum amount of effect on it, to get the maximum amount of effect on that. Because when we were doing the last scene with Nail Gun, and it was one of the first times as a director, I had to not only shot schedule like how we're just going to shoot it for lighting, but also how to do the makeup effects, because makeup takes time.
Yeah,
on it. And so we had to schedule that, and we had to shoot it in a different way than we normally would shoot it. And so obviously the makeup artist working with the DP, working with the editor to go, how's the best way to do this so we get the maximum impact on
it. Tony Regime, I don't know what it is, but it's weird and pissed off. It was fucking Richard Master. That was Richard Master's line. When they first go in, they call McCready and he's running deals like, I don't know what's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is. Did you ever notice, if you look at if you watch the high definition version, because you can't really tell in the original, when the thing crawls up, when it jumps up to the ceiling and is like, trying to get away, and then the thing opens up and the Childs has got the flamethrower and he's up there and this is great, legit flamethrowers they used on set. Not fake.
I mean, if you got to do a fucking flamethrower scene, you better be using a legit fucking flamethrower.
Yeah. When the thing splits open, it's got fucking eyeballs everywhere, and it splits open. The big thing comes out. I didn't realize it. You can't really tell, but Rob Bottin's work on this movie, what he did, that thing that comes out is a combination of two things. It's like this big mouth that goes like, wow, like this. If you look at the design in the high def, that's a combination of dog tail bones and dog tongues.
What?
Wow.
That's what it's composed of. That's what it looks like.
That's fucked up.
Because the thing is just an amalgamation of pieces of just all the things brought together. So when you look and you can see it in high def and not the natural grain of the original 1981 cut, that the lines of demarcation thing, because it's like hands coming out like that. Well, the lines are all dog tails, and then the connective tissue between were dog tongues. All hung together to make like this grasping thing that came out there, and Child is like, fuck you, and just burn that shit. So.
Fuck off.
That's so cool.
Because Keith David is a badass.
Yes, Tony Regime, Bad Taste. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Amazing effects.
All the effects of Bad Taste. Oh, and Angie says Fire in the Sky scared the shit out of me. Fire in the Sky was good. That was a good one. That alien abduction scene was pretty gnarly. Because, but it always bugged me, though. The aliens got him. They grab him. It's so gross. It's like this goopy things and gross things. He puts him in he's like, it's so disgusting. Rotting bodies. But then they're dragging him. They grab him. They're dragging him through the hallways. And I'm thinking, these are fucking aliens, man. It's interstellar travel. Why is this place so fucking dirty? It's just dirty everywhere. You think it'd be cleaner, just kind of like, but no, it's just trash everywhere. It's like, fuck it. It was like, I never felt more justified in my own life. Super advanced intelligence, interstellar traveling. Just throw the trash over. Just throw it over there in the corner. It's all good.
Just toss it. God.
Oh, fantastic shit. Oh, so Little Wolf says, I just got Altered State. Can't wait to watch it again. Good stuff. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Fuck, man. You guys are pulling out all these movies that were just like in the backup. They were in the fucking archives of my mind.
One day you'll get to, you got to condition the brain. And as stuff comes in, you got to learn to push other stuff out. And then that's how it all
You do it like fucking I don't even understand how you do it. You got so much stuff in your brain. I think you need to be studied because.
Do you want to know the secret? You want to know how I do it? Okay, this is and it's so disappointing, but it's obvious. Once I tell you, it's going to be like, oh, that's how you do the trick. Whenever I see a new movie, and this is totally like an OCD thing. and I don't know why. Whenever I watch a new movie, I watch it like 4 times in a row.
That's garbage. You're cheating.
Like I watch it, then again.
Okay, so now we got to go over how you have that much fucking time in a day to do that.
And if the movie's really good, I'll watch it like 3 or 4 times a day over a period of like a week. And just because I'll be bored and I'll be sitting here writing, and then also, you know what? I was like, great, I'll just put the movie back on. You have any idea how many times I've watched The Color Out of Space, the Nick Cage one? I'll literally be here writing, and I'll just turn it on, and I won't even be watching. I'll just be listening to it because I already know what's going on the screen. So, but when I listen to it, that's how I pick up inflections in the actors' voices, choices that they made, things that I didn't hear because I was too busy looking at the screen. And I'll hear like, oh, they added in that. That's neat. And that's in the information just gets stored. I'm on the verge of losing like important dates, with my wife. So I got to be really careful.
That's
too
what's
much
next.
in. I'm just going to forget. I'm going to wake up one day and be like, oh man, did you see Antlers? I remember all this stuff. It's like, I'll be looking, who the hell are you? Oh, that's right. I'm married.
Oh, fuck.
Shit.
Like, oh god, that was such a oh,
it's great to be single and have my own podcast. Oh my god. Glober Mom says Jaws scared me too. I had issues being in the deep end of a pool after that movie. You know what? I will admit this. Glober Mom, my fear, I have one like phobic fear. And my friends, my close friends make fun of me for it. I don't like water I can't see the bottom of. So
that's a totally fucking rational fear.
It is a rational fear.
People are like, this weird fear of being in the ocean. Are you fucking high?
Do you know what's in the ocean? You know what's in there with you?
Have you ever watched any Discovery Channel? Anything?
They don't know.
We went to go vacation. We went to go vacation in Fort Myers, and it's right at the Gulf Coast. But this is Florida, and Florida is known for bull sharks. They got fucking bull sharks everywhere. So we're at Fort Myers. We're on the island. It's really beautiful. It's great. So we're out there in the ocean. I'm like, fantastic. I'm good about waist deep. It's like we're good to go there because at least waist deep, I've still got leverage. I can move. I can high step it pretty good like a football player. But I got my friends.
That false sense of security is cute because
my friends. No, because my friends are like going out there to where they're swimming and they can't touch the bottom. They're like open, and I've seen them and they're getting farther away. And I'm like, where are you going? He's like, well, come on, Jay. He's like, come on, Jay, I'll come with us. I'm like, no, Cuba, and I'm getting further away. I'm getting further and further away. I'm like, no. You have any idea what's in this fucking water with us?
Great whites. Are you kidding? I totally understand. I said waist deep my whole honeymoon. We were down in the Keys, and we were in the water, and it was like there was guys fucking snorkeling around and stuff. And I've come to find out that there was like an unreasonably like large number of great whites off the fucking coast where we were while we were there. And I'm like, see, I fucking told you, there's sharks there. And then we went kayaking and it was like, oh, shark. I'm like, and we swim in this shit, like knowingly.
What was it? I was in Hawaii one time. I was in Hawaii off of Hananama Bay. And I was in the water and I was swimming. It was beautiful. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Clear water and I'm having fun until the fucking sirens go off on the beach indicating there's a shark in the water. And the shark was in between me and the shore.
I don't need to be swimming. I don't need to be swimming anywhere where there's a siren to let you know that there's a fucking shark close enough to take you out into
I'm in the
ocean.
water and I see everybody leave and I hear the siren. I'm like, what's going on? And then people just start walking out like it's a normal thing. This is what we do this all the time. And I'm looking around and it says shark. I'm like, so I look around. I'm the furthest one out.
Oh,
I'm like,
shark bait.
So I'm just gonna start working my way back and not making any motion. We're good to go. Just like that. And I'm not running.
I am not a seal. I am not a seal.
I come in peace.
Tony Regime says, if you're in the ocean, there are fish and crustaceans having sex all around you.
Yeah. I saw a statistic once that was like, humans have a corpse to water ratio. Like if you're in a pool with one corpse, that's too many corpse per gallon. So at some point, there's a corpse to water ratio you're comfortable with. And that comes
Sarkaz says, wow, we have gone far astray from the cleansing hour. That's what happens. We do.
We sure have.
We go organic here. Talk about real fears. But yeah. But also going back to what Globerom said, the practical effects. Jaws 2 was really good and a good strong improvement over Jaws because at that point they knew how the shark worked and they could make the shark better because they knew everything that didn't work when they were making it. It wasn't trial and error like the first film. It was like you had to wait, like hours or even days. The shark's not working. And quick, oh god, the shark's working! Run quick to the set so you can get the shot in before the shark quits again. But in this one, they knew what worked, and that's why that shark was badass. And they could do things like set it on fire and do all kinds of cool things.
Fuck it up.
Exactly, because that's why Jaws 2, I think, is actually superior to Jaws 1. Just because they were familiar with it, they knew it worked. They didn't have to introduce the shark. We already knew it's Jaws 2, so we know it's a shark. We don't have to play coy. The shark is going to fuck people up, and we're going to see it, and that was just awesome. So
that was good. Fuck yeah, Moonchild. Blue tips will bite in a heartbeat. Anyways, let's rein it back a little bit. Let's get back to Satan, okay? I want to ask the audience about possession horror films because we talked about this one. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth the time. You won't be disappointed. So, what is your favorite possession horror? There's so many of them out there. Some are good, some are terrible. Some are The Taking of Deborah Logan, which will scar you for fucking life.
Holy fuck.
Seriously. I'll never forget it.
That final
even watching it for the 10th time, it's still like I'm like, oh god, it's coming.
That last scene just still gets me. I was like, that's not right. Why aren't you fighting that?
Let's not do that.
I'm just gonna accept my fate. I'm gonna accept my fate. Glob. So,
Jesus Christ. Anyways, let us know in the chat.
That's how I eat. That's how I eat hoagies.
Let me eat these. Yeah, anyways. Let us know in the live chat or email us at weekinhorror@gmail.com. But speaking of Satan, I'm sorry, I got to give a shout out to a Massachusetts-based satanic temple for standing up for what they felt was right. Thanks for sticking your neck out there.
Oh, standing up against
I can't say it out loud because we live here and we'll probably get shut down or shot or something. Something's going on in this state that
no.
Very odd.
That's in that state, but not in the state that I'm in. I'm in a different state.
You moved. I got
the fuck out. Yeah, he's out. I got the fuck out before me. I got out of Gilead before it became Gilead. So I'm good to go.
Fucking Greg Abbott. Fuck you, Greg Abbott. Sorry. Yeah, I'll say that on a live. I'll say it on a live stream.
Got some good ones here. Let me see.
Oh, dude, yeah. Fuck Greg Abbott. Fuck him.
Alpha Canada one says anybody. Alpha Canada one says The Exorcist.
Why don't you stand up for the fucking anthem? Sorry.
Glover Mom says Evil Dead. A lot of love for Evil Dead, for the Evil Dead movies. The Exorcist, The Taking. Gotta go. Sarcasm says gotta go Evil Dead. Sir Little Wolf says the Care Bears movie is their favorite possession horror.
Yeah.
So Little Wolf says, Mommy, it is a freaky movie, even for kids. Alpha Canada 1 says, Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer.
That sounds like a Terraria DLC or something.
Moonchild62 says, Night of the Comet. Good to see you, Moonchild.
I love Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet's great. Also, the Final Girl. Yeah, Final Girl in that. Just badass. Possessed and Tony Regime says, Possessed and Repossessed. Charlie Welch says Scare Bears.
Repossessed remind me of
Jinju. Yes, Governor. That's it. Yes, Governor.
Not my governor. I'm just kidding. But seriously, we're close enough to Oklahoma. If we need to fucking run, we're good. Eugene, we can go stay with
So Little Wolf says Horror Express. Wrote it no last name. Says The Hidden. All kinds of good stuff. Oh, Angie says The Wizard of Oz.
Fucking hot take. I like it.
Wizard of Oz, a girl who kills the first person she sees and then goes on a trip to kill somebody else.
She's on a murderous mission. Man. That's a good one.
Killing these fuckers in my dreams. All right, so I've got the last one for the night.
You do take it home, and it's fucking terrible.
I fell on the fucking sword for this one, gentlemen. So bear with me. We're probably not going to dive too hard into this bad boy.
No, honestly, I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it to prepare for this. I've seen it before, and that was it. I didn't need to watch it again.
You didn't need to watch it again.
I skimmed it. I did. I skimmed it. I tried.
Stevie B. I'm sorry. Going back, Idle Hands. Fucking hands down one of my top 3
Oh,
favorite
hell
movies
yeah.
ever.
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
And that was who was it? Did we say hi to them?
Stevie
B. Is that a new one?
I think oh yeah, Stephen B. Oh yeah, awesome. If we hadn't said hi, I just want to make sure that we said hi to him.
Yeah.
So, awesome, fantastic. Ooh. Oh, Angie says, what about a Killer Clown remake? They were pretty fucking scary. There was a possibility there was going to be one on Sci-Fi. It was going to be a limited series.
Yeah, series.
Like an episodic series, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to take off. There was ideas behind it, but maybe not. But possibly, I don't think it's going to happen. But that would have been cool. Let me see here.
We got a Chucky remake instead.
I will take that. Possessed doll. There you go. There's a possessed doll. All right. So, yeah, I got to get through this one because this one's like fucking stomach cancer. September 17th, 2019, this movie debuted, Polaroid. So, directed by Lars Klevberg, screenplay by Blair Butler, based on Polaroid by Lars Klevberg. It was a short film that inspired this one, starring Catherine Prescott, Grace Zabriskie, Samantha Logan, Tyler Young, Javier Botet, which you may remember from the creepy movie Mama, Katie Stevens, Madeline Petch, Davi Santos, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, Mitch Pileggi, who was Skinner from the X-Files. It's a bummer when you see
should have stayed home, Skinner.
Yeah, it's a bummer when you see the legends that you love in films like this. But hey, man, everyone needs a paycheck, so I'm not judging. I show my personal channel out whenever I can. So, in essence, just to break this down, I don't want to just lose too much. In essence, the film follows a high schooler, Bird Fisher. That's just where it begins. Who is given a vintage Polaroid camera that holds dark and mysterious secrets. In essence, I don't even know where to fucking begin, dude. It's scary old stuff. We find something from the bygone era. It's old, like, what came to mind on this one was that fucking monkey, like the symbols monkey. You know what I'm talking about with the creepy teeth and the like. There was a Stephen King wrote a horror story that was about that damn thing, where every time the monkey clapped its cymbals, something would die. And it was in a short story called, I think it was a short story. I think it was Monkey Shines. I can't recall. But anyway, so there was this one. It was like ding ding, and every time if the cymbals would pull back and then clap, bam, and then something would die. And then every time it did it, the level of death increased every time it took place. And it was like, because it was an old antique monkey that did this. So it's this kind of in the vein of old stuff, because this is 2019. They don't even make Polaroid film anymore. Polaroid cameras are fucking useless unless you have the film for them. And it's like, ooh, a Polaroid camera. Oh, wow, it's 2019, and I'm taking pictures of shit. And every time you take a picture of something, this demon comes out and fucking kills you because it's like possessed, but we think it's possessed with this red herring. Oh my god, the fucking
This is my favorite possession film.
The plot was so goddamn convoluted. And the trope was old. So
it kept switching around because like, oh, well, this girl was lonely, and then so she got a camera, and they made fun of her. So her high school bullies came to attack her. No, they're actually coming to save her. No, they're attacking her again. And you have this weird shadow that appears on the film, and like the way they end up taking it out is fucking retarded because they just take a picture of it. That's like, I don't care. I don't like spoiling films that came out 2 years ago. I don't, because I want to give people a chance. I don't give a fuck.
They kill this thing by going, cheese, bitch. And then
they like take a picture. They like tear the picture
of it.
Wait a second.
It's
click. I got you, bitch.
So yeah, and that's the thing that's the thing that got me on this one. It's an old and silly tired trope. I don't know what writer. As a writer myself, I would never try to like sell someone on a plot point being that the victim and the actual perpetrator have the same initials, the K, like KJS. It's like, oh, it's KJS, so it must be the girl. It's like, oh, it's not the girl, it's the guy, it's this guy. Oh my god, no, stop. I don't believe you.
We're already past the point of I don't fucking care.
The only thing I'll say is at least Javier Botet was in this one, and I like Javier Botet. Javier Botet is a Spanish actor who has Marfan syndrome. and he has used that to his advantage because he has got the like very, very long, elongated limbs. He's got a very gaunt feet. He's got very gaunt features as a result of his Marfan syndrome. He's segued that, or he's turned that into a very marketable career as playing monsters and creepy things. Like I said, he was the creature Mama in the Guillermo del Toro film Mama, which was fantastic. He was creepy as fuck in that. In the original Wreck, the zombie film Wreck, he was like the old woman who was like the original zombie woman, all the long limbs and the I guess the titties that sag down to her ankles and shit with like the he plays monsters like that, like very similar to Doug Jones, only Javier Botet is taller and he's got longer limbs. So I dug that. I liked that. I thought that was decent. They just didn't use it the way you should because it was too fucking dark. You never fucking really see it. And every time you do, I mean, see, they did something really good, but they didn't show it, which is just a waste. Why are you going to waste a good performance like that? And then Mitch Pileggi, what? Come on, dude.
Yeah, because he's like in the shadows, and then occasionally you'll see like a hand break the girl's neck, so the hand comes out, like that, and everything. It was just,
it's not great.
Oh, Still Little Wolf asked about Wreck. Okay, so there was an American remake called Quarantine, starring Jennifer Carpenter of Dexter fame. She played a reporter who went with the fire department and the police to investigate some deal. Who winds up being zombies in the apartment because of an outbreak. Well, that's a remake of a Spanish film called Wreck. Here in America, there was Quarantine and Quarantine 2, but in Spain, there was Wreck, Wreck 2, Wreck 3 Apocalypse, and then Wreck 4. And Wreck was took a few nods from Resident Evil, but Wreck was an amazing fucking series. All four of those movies are badass because they don't hold back. They don't Americanize it, which is why they're great. Wreck was incredible.
Wreck was good.
And Javier Botet does amazing fucking work as a physical actor. He's able to convey stuff, and that's why the movie was more of a letdown. It was more of a letdown because I was like, when you cast talent like that, I want to see it. Don't fucking waste it.
Let's just talk about how you're talking about old tropes and shit, but at the same time, like we were talking about the jump scares. It's like they fucking leaned on them so fucking hard that it was
it's
like
all they had.
It was like 35,
like, well,
maybe
sucks.
45 minutes into the movie, you're just like, wait, is this all it's going to be the whole fucking time?
It is. I got tired.
Seriously.
I was like, what? No, it's like because you expect it. You can count the beats. By that point, they've adjusted you so much by the end. I would say by the third act.
Well,
you feel the beats coming.
You
get the energy hits here, then the music goes here.
Then they put the music in. They put the music in where it's like it's coming. Yeah,
exactly. All the cues you get adjusted to it. Which
if you're gonna do jump scares nowadays, especially, this movie isn't that old. If you're gonna do jump scares nowadays, they got to be fucking offbeat. You can't have shit that's so on beat that you can fucking smell it come. You're like, hold on, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
You have to. The thing is, with good jump scares, you have to limit them on it because, like I said, you get desensitized to them so much they lose the effect because they don't get you anymore. It's just like it's like jump scare fatigue. I don't know if there's a title, but that's what I'm going to call it. Jump scare fatigue.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you're so used to it that it's like you see it coming, it's going to be there. It's like if we're going to have a jump scare movie nowadays, you got to have it where it's like you think it's coming and then it doesn't. And then you're like, oh, okay, they got me there. So it's definitely coming now. Oh, no, it doesn't. And then you're like, no way. The third time, it's not coming. It's got to be like a cried wolf type of thing. On the fourth turn, it's like, oh, still not there. And then bam, hits you in the face. Stuff like that.
On top of that, when you get the audience adjusted to your jump scares like that, and then, of course, when your plot is so fucking convoluted that if you're not really paying attention to it, so you have one aspect of the movie that's demanding your attention, and then another aspect of the movie which is pretty much writing you off. Because you just get so bored with it, you're just kind of like, and you start not paying attention. Then you lose the plot. What's the fucking point? And that's what actually kind of aggravated me because I'm sitting here because I pay attention to horror movies. No matter, I can usually find redeeming qualities in pretty much any film. Anybody who's listened to this podcast for more than a month knows that I will find good things about the worst shit. Johnny O makes fun of me for it.
But you're looking into it as like a film producer, or a writer's perspective. You're looking at it like a cinematic perspective. Like, man, they really put their time and effort into this movie. Even if it didn't come out great, I can see where they were going with it.
Yeah, I can see their vision.
But
I'd rather see you try and fail than not try at all. At least
would you though? Because this is what.
No, they didn't even try.
Wasn't any trying, I guess.
They did.
This is. Go ahead.
This is a paint by the numbers horror film. Like,
but
straight up.
But this is like, but the numbers and then the color are in a different language that you can't understand. So you kind of just do what you feel is right.
I was gonna say it's a paint by numbers. It's a paint by numbers one.
But all you got is black.
There's only 3 numbers. It's only 3 numbers, and there's only one fight, and then there's only one working watercolor. All the other ones are dried out. So it's like, okay.
You don't have a cup to rinse your brush off in. It's all just fucking mashing together. It looks terrible at the end. This is not a Bob Ross.
There's that one meme where it shows Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers. It's like a coloring book. And so they colored Kylo Ren's lightsaber red, and that was it. And you're like, I guess I'm done.
But it's so unbelievably fucking accurate. Yeah, because everything, it was white and black. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like, it really pissed me off, and I don't like it when a movie pisses me off. There's only one other film there's only one film that's really pissed me off, and one film that bored me to fucking sleep. And this one actually kind of fell in the middle.
Right.
So the one film that pissed me off was Ninth Gate, and that was just because of the last 5 minutes. It pissed me off so badly I've never watched the movie again.
I was going to say, you rip on that movie a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't know why. And it's
I only rip on
the
last 5 minutes. That's it.
It was a great movie.
The movie was magnificent, except for the last 5 minutes, which made me hate it so much I've never watched it again.
I've had enough bad relationships that I'm willing to let it go.
And the one that made I fell asleep is Silent Hill Revelation. I fucking dozed off in that movie. I was so excited for the movie. I was like, this is amazing. And then I went in there and like fucking 30 minutes in, I dozed off. Woke up 15 minutes later and was like, whoa, what happened? And it was like, nothing. You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. It was like, oh, okay. God, Kit Harington. What the fuck? And he was just so terrible in that movie. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I shit on Jon Snow. What do you want me to do? He was awful.
He wasn't even good in Game of Thrones. So.
The script was terrible, and he made it worse. So, but nonetheless, and then this was the middle ground. Polaroid was actually a middle ground in this. I was just bored because the fucking overuse of jump scares, the overuse of jump scares, and the fact that I couldn't see the monster that I wanted to see.
But the story never went anywhere. Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly, and then exactly, and then this plot that is convoluted because the plot is so fucking middling. They have to convolute it to give it any kind of body, and then I'm like, I'm sleepy pissed.
I'm sleepy pissed. I am mad and tired. I am. Yeah. I'm
fucking peepee is what I am. I'm
You shouldn't say that.
I'm slippy. I don't know. I was mad and I was annoyed and
I'm sad mad.
I'm sad mad. I don't know. I was just I'm sitting there going, I want to go to sleep and punch my screen. This is such a waste. And at least, I mean, and the only wasted talents were Javier Botet and Mitch Pileggi. Everyone else was just fucking worthless.
Everybody's okay. Hey, there's Jord. What's up?
What's the good word we use? Serviceable. That's pretty much what we use. That's the kind word we use. It's the rest of the cast, they were serviceable.
Fuck.
Sarcasm says the acting was bad, the story was bad, the CGI effects were bad. I want my 90 minutes back. God damn straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Sir Little Wolf, splat by numbers. Wait, that's a different kind of movie.
Yeah, we already talked about that. That was
earlier.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yes, I saw. And the George said jumped in here, and I saw him mention earlier. Predictability is the bane of horror, which is why series like Paranormal Activity and other procedural horror gets old so quick. It does. You got to be able to spice it up and do something new.
Which Paranormal Activity did for a few movies. At least they were fucking pulled out some original stops. This did not.
They did turn it around. I think Paranormal. I think it was PA6. PA6 and 7 were not bad. 4 and 5 were really that.
4,
that was.
I see 4. I liked 4 because it went into the lore, kind of the backstory a little bit. 4 and 5 did too, kind of. There was some more backstory because 1, 2, like whoa, and then 3 are kind of like and then 4 you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. And then, like you said, was it 6 or 7?
I thought 6 and 7 picked it up a little bit better.
Yeah, they absolutely did great. Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't 1 and 2. I mean, it wasn't 1.
It
wasn't 1 and 2.
You're right. I like the story behind Paranormal Activity, like the first and second one, and more of like how it was made and the success it is to me as a franchise.
Which one was the one that the lady was crawling up the beam up to the second floor? Was that 6? When she's like going up like the support, she climbed up the support to like the banister.
Yes, that was 6.
I think it was 6. I like that house. That house was really nice.
And the George says, "Oh yeah, Week in Horror. Something came in the mail today. Keep an eye on the Discord for pictures." That would be the prize that he won. Unfortunately, that was my fault. There was a delay because I accidentally input his address wrong.
Nice.
And it got rerouted.
Back and you're like, wait,
exactly. I was like, what the shit? So, and it took forever because it went out because it was, I wanted to give him a brand spanking new one. And so it shipped directly from the distribution warehouse. And then it took forever to get back to me. And then it's got to go back out again.
I was watching it on
annoying.
I was watching it on the email too when you first sent it out, and it was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It was my fault because I looked at an old. He moved and he updated his address, and I have the updated address, but my phone was dead. I was like, "Oh wait, I've got it on Discord," and it was the old one.
He knows.
So it was my bad. I had the it was my bad, but it finally got to him, and that's good to go. Thank you, awesome, good to hear. Commander Darklight was in the house. Good to see you, Commander Darklight. Says I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Oh, that's worse than anything.
That's worse than anything. It's not that I'm mad. I'm just
disappointed. Man, that triggered a core memory. Nice.
Oh, Plottle says, whoever thought, people want to watch my nanny cam for an hour and a half. They should be smacked. Paranormal Activity sucks.
Does not surprise me coming from Johnny.
I wonder how he'll feel about that horror film that was shot totally with a Ring.
Oh my God.
The Ring doorbell camera.
Yeah, the doorbell camera, yeah.
Wow. And it was that was the only camera. It was an entire horror film shot from the perspective of the Ring.
Do you remember when iPad fucking Nanos came out and that was the hot fucking lash? Shit.
Shooting movies like I heard about that. I was like, man, he shot an entire fucking movie, an award-winning movie with nothing but an iPhone 6. That's pretty damn impressive. Now I hear that there's a horror movie that's been shot solely with a Ring. I guess so.
Dumbfounded.
You have a fixed camera in one position, then you just got to dance people in front of it. So
listen, we're getting real fucking close to the movie Hardware.
All right, so I actually want to ask the audience real quick so we can close this movie out. I think we've dumped on it enough, but I gotta ask the audience in your guys' opinion, y'all's opinion, what purpose do movies like this serve? Because these films, even a film like this, goes through the process of getting a theatrical release, which this one did. It goes to test screening, like test audiences watch this shit. When producers put this out there are test screenings. They may only do 1 or 2, but they do get audience feedback from this stuff. This goes through a writing process. This doesn't just go like, I wrote a script, let's make a movie. No, a script was written, given to executives who read this shit, signed off on it, gave it to the director. The director says this. And there's meetings galore. You're talking about millions of dollars going out the window. There's production that goes into this. There's months of pre-production, a couple of months of production in itself, and then post-production that you got to go through to make this thing. And this is what came out in the end. What do movies like this fucking serve? What is going on in people's minds? Is there something we don't know? Which probably, given our experience, there probably isn't. It most likely was a political thing. It was probably a script that had to get made because they got to get it off their books. It's got to be something that they just threw together really fast in order to generate income just because they didn't have a movie coming out that moment and they needed to fill their schedule. There's a number of reasons why, but the really, other than making money or a scant bit of money, what does a movie like this fucking serve? It does nothing but just drag shit down. Or maybe it's a cautionary tale. Maybe it teaches us what not to do so we can make future horror better. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Love to hear it. Or hit us up, weekinhorror@gmail.com. Alex needs that reading material when he's up late breastfeeding.
Yes.
Every 3 hours, baby.
Sarcasm says, no, we have not dumped on it enough. There is no enough. Sir Little Wolf says, could be an experiment to test the waters. Possibly. Chris Durham, I think Chris Durham nailed it. Tax write-off.
It could be a combination. A lot of times, sometimes what happens is you'll get somebody who's in with the studio executive. For example, there was a movie that came out a couple years ago called Monster Trucks that was written by a 4-year-old daughter of.
Bro, that wasn't a bad movie, though.
It got delayed like 2 years.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. It bombed in the box office.
That was the animated one with the monsters in the truck, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that terrible.
It was a chill. It wasn't that bad for a children's movie.
It went through a whole bunch of, because it got delayed 2 years and it didn't do well in the test screening, so they went for it. Was a lot that happened behind it.
Yeah. All right, but yeah. Okay. Well, it is that time again. Alex, I'm gonna have a chat with you.
What?
All right, we're gonna see how.
We breezed over it. Just don't fucking dig into it right this second, okay?
I'm not.
It is that time. It's trivia time. So I and it's we know you guys sit with us, listen to the movies, listen to us jaw on about movies. But here we go. It's trivia time, the time that you all enjoy. The prize that we're giving away this week is the same as we gave away last week. It's going to be a brand new official season 3 artwork t-shirt. So as soon as we unveil those and we get those printed and we put them up in the store, y'all will be the first ones to get it. The last winner was Jinju, who picked up an official season 3 t-shirt. And someone's gonna get another one tonight. So here we go. Eugene, give them the trivia question, the thing that they've been waiting for.
The trivia question is, what movie was the Blob paired with when it was distributed by Paramount as the double feature B film? So I'll say it again. What movie was the Blob paired with when it was distributed by Paramount as the A double feature of the B film? So what film was the Blob paired with for the double feature film? The first person to answer it in the chat wins.
Oh, we can't do that. You're gonna get a suit. Nope.
Oh, shit, sorry.
That's copywritten.
Cut it out. Shit.
Dude. Oh, we got some good guesses here. So we got plot hole. Yeah, I'm aware. I just saw plot hole's message. Yeah, so I'm very well aware. And I'm sitting here like trying to not be obvious in like flag. I should have just grabbed the fucking airport Tom, just be like,
I fucking told you nobody fucking
anyway.
listens to.
So Chris Derby.
Okay, I will say it because I'm not going to say the answer, but in terms of a couple of guesses, we actually, if you paid attention, we actually said it.
Yes, we actually did. Alex, I got to throw you, dude. I'm sorry. Alex actually gave away the answer earlier in the deal.
You guys listen. The audience,
but I wasn't obvious. I was kind of like,
the audience fucking proved something, and that's they just don't fucking listen to me. I know where I stand.
All right,
I gave this answer away very fucking clearly while everybody was being really quiet.
We'll ask that one more time. What movie was The Blob paired with when it was distributed by Paramount as the double feature B film? So it was paired with another movie in 1958, and it was the B film. That's where the term B film comes from, because you had two movies, the A film and the B film. The A film was typically what the distributor thought was going to be the bigger money earner, and then the B film was the follow up encore to to keep them in the theater long enough. So and some more concessions. So when it comes down to the Blob obviously took over the A slot because it was so fucking good, and boom, Sarcasm's got it.
Yeah, we actually had a lot. We had a lot of people. Tower Inferno, Night of the Lepus, Creature from Black Lagoon, the stuff. But we finally got it.
Yeah, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. These were good. These were good choices. David Hasselhoff and Star Crash, directed by Roger Corman. I love you, Chris Durham. That's amazing. Sarcasm got it with "I Married a Monster from Outer Space."
Yeah.
Yes,
Baby.
I Married a Monster from Outer Space. Yeah, congrats. I Married a Monster from Outer Space was the A film that was shown before The Blob in 1958,
But not for very long.
I think it took 2 weeks for The Blob to overtake it, because everybody went to go see it. It was like, you actually had people showing up, because this was pre-1960. So you had people buying tickets and then not going into the movie until The Blob came on. So in order to keep them in there and justify the price of the money they just spent, they put The Blob first, and then the people would stay for the follow-up, because you're already there. Why not watch a second movie? But if you don't need to watch it, people just wanted to watch The Blob. So they ended up swapping it over until, Alfred Hitchcock came along in 1960 and said, nope, you cannot sell tickets in the middle. You have to sell them at the beginning. And if they don't show up, you can't let them in, because he didn't want spoilers.
Yeah.
So congrats, sir. Congrats, Sarcasm. There was some other, let me see. Oh, Sarcasm with the Google foo. That's how you do it.
Or you just listen to me talk, for 5 fucking seconds.
Let's see. I thought Tony James. I thought it was going to be Linked to Hardware and was ready with Carl McCoy, Fields of the Nephilim. Oh, Tony Regime, you rule. You're a legend. All right, fantastic. Well, congrats to Sarcasm. I want to make sure that was Sarcasm, right? Yep. Congrats to Sarcasm. I just want to make sure that was. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. And that is a season 3 artwork T-shirt. All right, and we will get that to you as soon as we debut it and distribute it and put it. You also get to see it up on the store after that. Plothole says, "Los locos kick your ass. Los locos kick your face. Los locos kick your balls into outer space." Name that movie. Come on, Short Circuit 2.
What?
Oh, it's been forever since I've watched that.
When Johnny Five met the gang and they spray painted and put the fucking.
It's been forever.
I don't know where.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years. All right.
And that brings another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening, and we truly hope you enjoyed the show. Join us next week for our season finale. We get to look back on Wishmaster, Feast, Red State, and Pandorium.
Oh, and something I want to add, because I know you're going through the deal. You're going through the closing deal. For next week's trivia, we're doing a trivia question for every movie.
No shit.
Every movie will have a trivia question attached to it in celebration of our season finale. So read those movies off again, because you're going to want to watch them. Watch these movies, because there's going to be questions, and they're not going to be easy. So
they're good movies.
Hit them up again.
Yeah, we're looking back at Wishmaster, Feast, Red State, and Pandorium. Jesus, those are going to be tough.
Oh yeah,
you're going to have to watch the movies for those.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those you won't even be able to find on Google, I promise. And also, we'd like to send a special shout out to our amazing patrons who have helped us make this show the success it has become. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, we would not be able to do this without you guys. At this point, every little bit, even if you're just in that lowest tier, helps out so much. It's you have no idea. Also, be sure to check out Joshua Olsen's new store, www.badsamurai.store. Joshua does all the amazing artwork for our limited edition t-shirts. And he has some designs that he came up with that you guys are going to love. Check his stuff out. It is unbelievable the work this guy does. Visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store, at Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month, courtesy of $6shirts.com. Some of those are fucking great. We want to check out some horror entertainment. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. JL's about to start a TikTok where he does weird dances and stuff. Follow us to get your daily splatter. A little bit of horror history every day, right to your feed. You never know what new horrors, like JL without a shirt, you may discover. Subscribe to our channel and smash that bell like a zombie head for all the latest updates to the show. We really hope you enjoy the new live format, and we'd love to get your feedback on it. Anything that we've done wrong, anything that we've done great, let us know. We take all the feedback to heart. Be sure to leave us
trivia questions.
Shut up. Somebody had a Google. Never mind. Anyways, be sure to leave us a comment below. Is anybody even listening to the closing plugs? Because I'm doing them. Is that a problem? Should we switch over?
They're listening. The number's not dropping.
Be sure to leave us a comment below, as the interactions really help us with the dreaded algorithm. Anything, comments, hit the like button, bell, it all fucking helps because the algorithm is terrible. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and would like and are able to support our production, you can through our Patreon. We have subscriber tiers as low as $1, bonus and exclusive content, and horror films every month for our higher tiers. However, if you prefer, you can support the show through our PayPal as well. Links to everything, including our Discord community, where you can find film recommendations, trailers, trivia games, horror watch parties, and even talk to us directly, are in the description. While the country is finally beginning to recover, or not, who knows at this point, it's dystopian. Go out there, put some shoulder pads on, go to wastelands, take some pictures, because that's what life's going to be soon. We know things are still pretty tight for many of you. As always, simply commenting, liking, and sharing the show with your friends in your local horror community is the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. Thank you guys so much for being the greatest audience a podcast could ever ask for. I'm Alex.
I'm JL.
And I'm Eugene.
We'll see you guys next week. And as always, stay scared.